Hey everyone, I'm back again with another video, and this one is a two-story video, so be sure to stick around for the second story as well. The first one is titled, Am I the a-hole for not adopting my wife's child? Make sure you like the video and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Let's get right into it. I used to have a wonderful relationship with the woman I love. However, 5 years ago she got drunk and had a one-night stand and got pregnant from it. Can't be mine. I can't have kids due to a horseback riding injury when I was a teen. Didn't get the guy's name, no way to find him, so he's out of the picture. My wife decided to keep it, and we almost went through a divorce, but couples therapy made us decide to try again. We're still in therapy now, since I still have a hard time trusting her. So she had her son, we talked a lot about it, and I made it clear that I'm okay taking on a step-parent role, but I wasn't willing to fully be his dad. I wouldn't adopt him, but I would help raise him and get him off to college. My wife agreed to this, became a stay-at-home mom so she could take care of him with help from her parents, and I've pretty much been the fun uncle-like guy. I play with him, buy him games, try my best to not resent him, and I am in therapy for this, and mostly just stay out of the way of my wife's parenting. He even calls me uncle instead of dad. He knows I'm not his father, and is just happy to play video games with me and chill. Well, recently, my wife has started talking about me adopting him, something I'm not willing to do. I made it clear that if anything happened, he would go live with her parents, and I'd send child support. If they couldn't take him, I wouldn't put him in foster care or anything, but I also wasn't willing to take on the responsibility of being his father when I'm not. I'm happy being an uncle to another man's kid, since that's what life threw at me. This has greatly upset her, and she's trying to find a way to force me into adopting him. She's even been manipulating the poor kid, saying he should start calling me dad instead of uncle like he has his entire life, which is upsetting and confusing the poor boy. This situation has worked for the last 5 years, and I don't know why she's trying to change something that isn't broken, or force me into a role I told her years ago I wasn't willing to accept, which she is fine with until just recently. And the OP has some updates for us. After reading everything, I told my wife I was leaving and pursuing that divorce. I think I've been ready to do so for a while, but just needed the push. This has led to a complete meltdown, but I stayed firm, packed everything up, and moved in with my brother across town. I have already contacted a landlord to tell him I would pay for 2 more months of rent. After that, everything needs to be switched to her. Talking to my lawyer, it was verified that, due to the process I went through after the birth to establish I wasn't the father, I would not have to pay child support or alimony, which is something very rare and uncommon anyway where I live. He's already working on the paperwork. No idea when it will all happen, but once it does, I'll cut full contact. My wife has tried to call and text multiple times, but I've refused to talk. I'll post another update when I know more. And the first comment says, everyone sucks here. Everything about this is pretty terrible. Her cheating, you purposefully distancing yourself from the child who is not yours through no fault of his own, not to mention you being the only father figure he's ever known. Dads do not need to be blood. You all sound like a-holes, except the little one obviously, who I just feel so sorry for. Sort your S out for his sake. And another commenter replies, exactly, if OP couldn't grow past his resentment of the child not being his, then he never should have agreed to stay in the relationship. It's not fair to the child. Either he needs to be all in or out. And another commenter says, it's not that easy to just not resent. He's doing something better than being all out. He's still contributing to his life. It is sad that he hasn't come along more, but he's not a total a-hole. Everyone sucks here. I have changed my view. I think that the thought the kid is better than without him is completely true. The fact that he can't step into the role because he must have so much resentment, being called dad, is too much. Still, everyone sucks here applies. Mother is also doing herself and the kid a disservice. And the next comment says, you may want to check with an attorney. Regardless of whether or not he is your biological child, you have been raising and supporting him. Even if you don't adopt him, he's likely yours in the eyes of the court. That said, not the a-hole. You had an agreement, you supported her decision to keep the baby, you worked through her infidelity, she wants to have her cake and eat it too. And the OP replied, I have checked with 2 lawyers, one actually my brother-in-law and one an out-aid party. I was not put on the birth certificate. and was actually told by both that the fact that he wasn't mine was grounds for a quick divorce, no matter how long it's been. If we divorced tomorrow, I would basically be walking away free. My brother-in-law was disgusted with his sister when he found out, and was even the one to suggest that I should get a divorce. My other lawyer is much more neutral about it all, so I trust what he says. And the next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to support my wife through her diagnosis after her infidelity? Let's get right into it. My wife and I had a pretty normal marriage. No kids, both employed, and really happy together. For 99% of our relationship, we didn't have any major problems. We made time for each other, so on and so forth. She recently went away with her friend for a girls' trip. The first 2 days after she came back, everything was fine. And on the third, we went to dinner with his friend and her boyfriend. Dinner went well, came home and went to bed. Wife woke me up in the middle of the night crying, saying there was something she had to tell me. Long story short, she had cheated on me the entire trip, and her friend had cheated on her boyfriend as well. Apparently, the dinner together caused her to have an attack of conscience because she messaged my wife after I had fallen asleep, telling her that she was going to come clean to her partner, and my wife had to tell me as well, or she would. We talked, yelled, cried. I spent most of the night sick. Told me it was just a horribly stupid decision and was perfectly happy with me, which honestly makes it worse. Why risk a happy marriage for an affair? It wasn't my fault, the usual. I've been staying at my sister's place while we figure out the divorce. Before this went down, she had been scheduled for tests and scans for what we thought were relatively non-serious health problems. Turns out we were wrong, as I was just contacted last week by her cousin telling me a scan revealed cancer. I got in touch with my wife and we talked. She proved her diagnosis and filled me in some details. She was understandably terrified and begged me to come back, to talk to her, hug her, give her a chance, to be there with her. I told her I wished her all the best. I am very sorry for what she's going through and know she's strong enough to make it through, but while I'd help financially from a distance, I wasn't physically going back. They, not her, have been harassing me, telling me to man up and go to her. My own friends are split 50-50. I don't want to go back. Before anyone pulls the "this is probably why she cheated" card, no. We had a good marriage. We had a sit-down talk every month to discuss anything wrong. We were solid. She just chose to take a chance on a quick thrill despite knowing cheating is a 100% deal breaker for me. She never even planned to tell me until her friend forced her. While I certainly don't think anyone deserves this, and I am sorry it happened to her, in my opinion, her diagnosis doesn't change our situation. I feel it'll be harder on both of us with me being there knowing I won't forgive her when it's over. It feels like prolonging the inevitable, and I feel like my obligation to her ended when she chose to betray our marriage. She has family and friends, so she isn't alone. I care about the woman I thought I married, but I no longer love who she turned out to be. So I feel it'd be fair to both of us for me not to be there. I'm not trying to punish her. My heart just isn't in it anymore. Am I the a-hole? And the OP has some edits for us. To the Reddit detectives further down, when I said we talk every month about our problems, it doesn't mean we only talk once a month in strict time slots. We talked as often as needed, but made a point at least once a month to sit with each other and check in, see how we're feeling and so on. Secondly, I mentioned she proved her diagnosis because when I was told I didn't believe it. I figured it was a poly to get me to come over and talk because she and her family had been trying to get me to reconsider from the moment I left. I also didn't want numerous answers to be filled with the exact same speculation. As far as how she cheated the entire trip, the two of them went with the purpose of meeting up with two specific people her friend knew, and I figured this would be easy to figure out, but I guess not. I knew her friend forced her to tell me because I demanded to see their messages after she told me she cheated. Finally, I know a lot of people post made-up stories. I'm not one of those people, but short of providing personal details, I can't prove it. If I wanted karma, I wouldn't be on a throwaway. I posted here because when some of your own friends are telling you that you're unreasonable, I think it's time for neutral third-party judgment, and I was hoping for valuable insight, which many people provided. To the mods, I'm sorry this post wasn't a great fit here. I'll post it in the appropriate subs in the future. And the first comment says, not the a-hole. You are right that you don't have any obligation to her after her choices. Personally though, I couldn't imagine caring for someone. loving them for years, and then completely turn my back on them if they had cancer. I imagine I would be filled with such regret if I didn't try to be there for them in the ways that I could be, as a friend, especially if they passed away. And the OP replied, "To be honest, I don't really want to be a friend either. All I feel is hurt. I gave her my best for years, truly, and she still chose selfishly to hurt me the way she did. And now that she's hurting, she wants me to be there again. I feel like the night she told me she was unfaithful was the last time I seen her as the woman I loved. I have no desire to be cruel to her, and from the bottom of my heart I hope she recovers and finds someone new, learns from her mistakes, and lives a good life. I just don't want to be in her life anymore in any capacity." Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, and be sure to comment below what other subreddits you want me to cover.